When it comes to dealing with depression, what is your single greatest challenge? Ask us anything. Mended Light. Welcome to Ask Us Anything, where we put a topic out to our YouTube community and they respond with their questions for us to answer, their single greatest challenge. So the topic today was, when it comes to dealing with depression, what is your single greatest challenge?
And we got hundreds of responses with people's questions, as much as we would love to answer every single one. So we're going to do our best, fastest job.
Yeah.
And we're going to start right now.
All right, let's go.
The mindset, it switches from, I have a support team, so it'll be better this time, to, if I so much as mention this most current episode, I'll be a burden to everyone, so I must seem bubbly and happy, while I'm nothing but a black hole inside. Even though I know the latter is just the depression talking.
I like to think of it this way. Depression is a liar, right? If you look at depression not as an essential part of you or your own brain or your own thinking, but some sort of invading force, it is lying to you. It's speaking untruths to you, or it's taking things that you do believe are true and then twisting them or blowing them out of proportion. So you know rationally that your support system is there for you, especially because they have shown it time and time and time again. What you feel emotionally, however, is something entirely different. What you feel emotionally is, I'm going to be a burden and they're not going to want to have me in their life anymore. I know this pain, I know this fear, because I have this deep-rooted fear that I am essentially unlovable, that to truly know me is not to love me, and so I have to present as the best version of myself, or only those parts of me that I choose to reveal, or even put on a front or put on a show. The way around it is to lean on history and to challenge that negative thinking. What is the evidence to the contrary? What is the evidence I have that they won't leave, that they will be there for me? And I might add, if your worst fears were realized, if they left, that wouldn't be because you are defective. It's because you need wise men and women in your life. You need people who will actually be there for you, and they may not be those people if they left, but they won't leave because you already know they won't, because you said so in your response.
Well, and I love that you shared that very human concern that we all have, right? When it comes down to it, almost all of us have this fear that I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable, I'm not worthy of love, I'm unlovable. The details look different for all of us. But when we share that story, like, it takes the teeth out of the fear, right? And so the fact that you shared that, like, there's so many people watching that are like, no way, he could never think that about himself, right? And so
she knows, though. She knows.
Well, and I also love that you said depression is a liar, right? In our book club for our membership site, we read the book, You Can Be Happy No Matter What. And in there, he talks about low moods and high moods. And that was a phrasing that I really related to, right? Yeah. Because we're human, we have human experiences, we have low moods and we have high moods. And to not believe ourselves or make big decisions when we're in a low mood, right? And that doesn't mean like undermining us or our experience. It just means being honest about it, right?
Yeah.
And so what if the next time you were in a low mood, you went to someone that has shown that they love and appreciate you and that you can trust them and that they're going to be there for you, right? Safety is important. So go to a person in your life who is safe emotionally and say, I'm in a low mood and I'm feeling like I'm not lovable and I can't reach out, but I'm struggling, right?
Yeah.
And I love that you brought up wise men and women, right? Because those are the people that show us that we can trust them and those are the people that show us that we can trust them and that we are worthy of love and show that love, right? And those really magical people in our life, they do it without us even asking.
Yeah.
Those are the diamond friendships, right? Those are the diamond people in our lives. They can do it without even asking. But I know something that I'm working on being better at is communicating when I'm in a low mood, because I'm used to being the strong one and just communicating.
And that's not just with me, like that's in a lot of your relationships.
In all my relationships, in my friendships with my family, like I am struggling, I'm having a hard time. It is crappy. This is what is going on for me. And allowing them to be there, just like I know I'd love to be there for them, but
letting them do that for you.
Yeah, letting them do that for me, right?
We serve others more readily than we let others serve us. And in doing so, we deny them the opportunity to show love for us and to grow the relationship. So stop it. Putting the mask down and telling the people that care about me that I'm not okay. Most of the time, I'm pretty joyful and happy, so I feel like showing up not okay feels like too much. I feel so weak when I cry in front of people. My response to that is, you seem to have painted yourself into a corner of this is the role that I play socially. I'm the happy person. I'm the upbeat person. I'm the person who brings cheer.
Or I'm the strong person.
Or I'm the strong person. And what ends up happening then is you deny yourself your humanity. You deny what you're actually going through. You deny yourself your truth in order to play a role. And the thing is, if you're surrounded by people who will only accept you if you're playing this role, get some new people. But you may be afraid that they won't accept you, but they actually would. I know a lot of people who show up very strong and present very strong, and when they show up vulnerable, everyone's like, yes, thank you. And we're happy to be here for you because you've been here for us so much. You don't need to wear the mask. You don't need to play the part. And you're not weak when you cry in front of people. I can name any number of videos where I or Alicia have cried in front of tens or hundreds of thousands of people here on the internet. Do you think we're weak, right? You probably don't. And if you do, okay, I don't need you.
And at some point in your life, it either wasn't safe or you weren't acceptable, right, for showing emotion or showing that weakness. So it was either an unsafe or an unacceptable thing.
And that has everything to do with the intolerance of the person who treated you like that's not okay. And nothing to do with whether or not it actually is okay.
And that it is an intolerance, but it also probably came from their own wound, right? So when we look underneath the harsh or judgmental behavior and we see the wound underneath it in another person, that doesn't make it acceptable or okay, but we understand it better and we're more able to give them empathy while still holding a boundary for keeping ourselves safe.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean I have empathy for where you're coming from because of your own wounds. That doesn't mean, well, I let you into my life and bulldoze or control or judge. It just says, I see the humanness in you and I understand that. And I also see the humanness in me. And what can I do to serve and support and love myself?
If I see somebody who tells me to stop crying, I can see with compassion, oh, what a limited life they're living.
Right.
But I'm also not going to rely on them for compassion because I'm not going to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, my role has always been the strong one. There have absolutely been people in my life where my relationship with them was based on that one-sided strength, right? And so I tried it out in small ways when me being vulnerable, me being the not strong one, right? Which vulnerability really is strength, right? We just don't think of it that way. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable.
It does.
As you rewrite these unspoken contracts, try it out in little ways with people, right? And as you see more safety, lean into that relationship and allow you to be who you really are. And it's in creating that safety for ourselves that we learn and we grow.
And here's what's really funny to me. We avoid two things out of fear of being perceived as weak. At least two things that come to mind. Crying and taking accountability. Mm-hmm. Admitting fault is how we phrase it. Because we're afraid people will think less of us if we admit our mistakes, or they'll think less of us if we cry. But think about it. When someone has been vulnerable and cried in front of you, did you not respect them more? When someone took ownership and accountability, did you not respect them more?
Right.
Most people do. And those that don't, the issue lies with them.
Right.
Next, not having, sorry, do you want to read it?
You keep reading every single one. So.
No.
Okay.
Next.
Not having energy, motivation to do anything. For me, feeling lethargic is a struggle to fight against every day. This is a common one. Mm-hmm. It's a big one. Like it is, like one of the symptoms of depression is struggling with personal hygiene because you just don't care enough to shower, to brush your teeth, like to get out of bed. And you've given some really great advice on this. At least I thought it was really great.
I tell people that if you're struggling to even get out of bed, if you're struggling to even function, I challenge them to do one thing, which is to get up and shower. Or actually, it's get up and shower and dress. Even if you just sit or lay around the rest of the day, just get up and shower and dress because, one, you're training your brain to do things that you don't want to do, but you feel like you ought to do or would be good for you to do. And two, once you're showered and dressed, most people find, well, I've already done this much. I can keep going. Right? What else can I do? I've already got this momentum. I'm all dressed up. I should go do something.
Well, and you talk about depression or anxiety. It's like trying to do normal things with weights tied to
Yeah.
your wrists and your arms, right? And that's very relatable. But it's also, so when we're trying to do things with mental weights tied to us, right? And then we see all the things that we're supposed to or should be doing,
Quote unquote.
or we're comparing ourselves to other people, and
What's wrong with me? They can do this. How come I can't? It's not the
Right.
task, it's the weight.
and we create this Grand Canyon of where we're at and where we think we should be,
Yeah.
right? And trying to leap the Grand Canyon, never a good idea. We don't want to leap the Grand Canyon, right? We want to take the smallest step forward in the direction we want to go, right? And we also want to do that with love and compassion and understanding, because that has been proven to be more supportive than judgment and criticism and
Yes.
telling us ourselves that we're lazy, terrible people, all these things. And you may or may not tell yourself that, but if I had to guess, when you're in that state, in that low mood state, you're telling yourself not kind, loving things, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And you're not showing up with love and compassion. And so your advice about just get up and shower and get dressed. Don't worry about anything else for the day,
Yeah.
right? But before you do that, give yourself 3 to 5 minutes of talking to yourself with love and compassion and understanding.
Yeah.
Dear, I know this is hard. I know you're feeling sad. I know you're upset. I know you don't want to get out of bed today. And this is so, so challenging. And I know you're frustrated because you felt like this so many times before. And it's overwhelming. And it's like, give yourself that understanding. It is okay to feel this way. It's okay to have hard days. And you know that you're going to get through this hard day just like you've gotten through every single other hard day. So what's one thing that I can do to give myself love and compassion? What's one thing I can do to make today a little bit brighter, even if overall it's kind of murky, right? And so if that's a piece of chocolate, if that's a cup of hot tea, like whatever that is for you, right? And even if it doesn't have as much meaning or joy as it does on bright days, right? Because we're not comparing today to yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? We're just looking at where we're at. We're giving ourselves love and compassion. We're bringing as much brightness in as we can. And we're taking a shower and we're getting dressed.
Yeah.
And we're not doing anything else. And after you've taken a shower and you've gotten dressed, and if you feel like, oh, I think I would like to do something else today, what's the next small step? We're not leaping the Grand Canyon. We're just taking the next small step. And that love and compassion with that perspective change can make a big difference.
Amen. Well said. No, do you like what we're doing? Is there anything that we could do to do it better? Let us know in the comments below. What struggle would you like us to address? What question would you like us to answer in this new series? If you'd like to have your questions answered in more of a deep dive with more of an interaction between us, you can join our membership site. It's actually half off right now at the time of this filming.
Yeah.
And if you sign up, then that rate will be your rate forever, where we do monthly live Q&As, and we actually interact with you and go a lot deeper. They're hour long and spend a lot more time on all of the questions. But here on YouTube, we're doing the best we can to serve you. Hope that you enjoyed it.
And if you'd like to see another video, we have lots more questions about depression and how to deal with it. Let us know. Throw your questions below.
In fact, check out the playlist as it rolls up here in just a second. Until next time, folks, keep shining. We need your light.